Hi everybody, my name is Helena. Welcome back to my channel, or just welcome if you're new here. The time has come. I'm gonna be finally checking out the SB19 Story episode 1, the ultimate sound break by Casual Chuck. So shout out to Casual Chuck for making this video in advance. I'm sure it's gonna be great because every single one of you recommended the whole series of this. This is the first episode, and as far as I've seen, there's already 7 of them in total. So I can't wait to get to, yeah, there he posted one episode 7 10 days ago. I can't wait to get to it. I really looking forward to getting to know these men more on a deeper level. How did they start? You know, how did they get together? Who's the leader? Who's this? Who's that? You know, I just want to get to know them better, their story. Because when I like an artist or a group, I want to know everything about them.
Not like in a creepy way.
But like more of a like, I'm interested. You know what I mean? I just want to know who they are as people. So yeah, let's just get to it because I'm very looking forward to it. Okay, let's go.
When you hear the word
what did he say? That was so quick. This video is only based on my personal research. I might miss some details and it's possible to have discrepancies, but I did my best to get as much accurate information as possible. It's okay, my guy. So
when
enjoy.
you hear the words pop music and the best boy band, who comes to mind?
There was BTS. Oh, by the way, if I don't think I've ever mentioned it. If you're watching my SB19 reactions from the start, I don't think I've mentioned it. Like, I am a fan of BTS since like 2014. That was like the first group I've ever was into, like very into. Before there was like obviously artists and stuff like that, Western artists. BTS was like the first group I very got into, and their humble beginnings and all of that. So yeah, let's get to it. But I have a beef with Butter and Dynamite. Hate those songs. I honestly don't think they like them either because they didn't produce them. They didn't have anything to do with them. With the songs, it was just really songs that they broke into the Western world with, and that was the goal. And they did that. But I hate those songs. Okay, that was just side note.
When you hear the words pop music and the best boy band, who comes to mind?
Yeah.
What if I told you that the most overlooked boy group in our generation might be these guys?
Yeah, you don't have to tell me that.
In the last 6 years, these guys turned a small Korean entertainment company into a company that produced the greatest P-pop group ever.
Excuse me? Small Korean entertainment? What?
Entertainment company into a company that produced the greatest P-pop group ever.
But then,
Are you proud of SB19?
yeah.
And you don't accomplish that without making a few enemies.
K-pop.
Lima pala sila.
K-pop pangit.
Fuck are they?
Some of them coming from unexpected
Wait a minute,
places.
I want to rewind back to what did they say?
K-pop pangit.
A bunch of what?
K-pop.
Lima pala sila.
K-pop pangit.
My God, when was the last time you looked in the mirror? What the fuck? I'm sorry, I get very not defensive, but I'm very protective, okay? Of things that I like. Anyway.
Lima pala sila.
K-pop pangit.
My
Some of them coming from
God.
unexpected places.
Pinoy ba daw? Parang may ginaya rin.
But behind the group are 5 driven men who were about to transform what was once a laughingstock genre in music into the fastest growing genre of the world.
Ever since we had this goal, and not just for us, but for the entire industry.
Feeling ko hindi pa natin nakukuha yung recognition na dapat para sa atin.
Between disbanding before they even debuted,
All
Huh?
hope is lost, parang nung time na yun.
becoming industry outcasts and getting bashed by their own countrymen,
Sana magkaroon tayo ng grupo na hindi naman mga kataasan ng tangos ng ilong. Para talagang original.
the rise of SB19 may not be the greatest Filipino success story ever.
Maganda kasi yung revenge kasi talaga yung success na ipapakita mo sa mga hindi naniniwala.
Tama yan.
But it certainly is the most inspiring one.
Even from this, how long have I watched? 1 minute? What the hell? Like, why are there so much haters in this world? Like, what the hell? What does that accomplished for them. Like for the haters, I mean. 2020, 2027. Oh my god, what? Oh my god, I was 2 years old, 1997.
This is called Triple, a group of talented performers and comedians from Korea you've probably never heard of. They were formed back in 1994 when the word K-pop hasn't even been invented. In 2002,
Oh, that was them? Because I know the guy, I know them.
when the word K-pop
Not the
hasn't
guy in the
even
middle.
been
I know the two on
invented.
the side. I know the two white the guys in the blue shirts. It's from Happy Together, show called Happy Together.
They were formed back in 1994 when the word K-pop hasn't even been invented. In 2002, one of the members made the biggest mistake of his life, which will change the entire course of P-pop history.
What? Who is that?
That member was Jong Song Han.
Bong Song Han.
It all
Okay.
started when he left the trio in 2002 to become an entrepreneur. Cult Triple became Cult 2. Most of their fans thought that Songhan's decision was a huge mistake because the remaining members started racking up different awards in the entertainment industry.
That's funny.
If he only stuck around, he would have gotten those
That's
awards
what you call
too.
guys
But This
unlucky.
man's decision was final. He used all of his savings to build an event organizing company called Show BT Entertainment. Today we know him as Tatang Robin.
I don't know that
Fast
him.
forward to 2015. The fight of the century just happened. One Direction's Drag Me Down was all over the radio,
Don't
and
know
Big
that
Bang was
song.
the biggest K-pop boy group.
Well, they've been
While
the
P-pop
biggest
has
K-pop
top
boy group for a
one
long time.
project. Chances are you have never heard of them. But somewhere in Makati, Philippines, an audition was held. Tatang Robin was looking for young talents who would be part of the package of their service as an event organizers. Talents who can perform on their own but can also serve as backup dancers and singers to their main performers. One of the main attractions of the SATA audition was if you're good enough, you might just debut as a member of Show BT's first ever P-pop group to undergo a Korean-style training. Filipinos don't get opportunities like that so often, so hundreds of talents applied, but only 30 made it as trainees. They were initially called the Show BT Musical Gala Team, but then later dubbed as Nara, which in Korean means country and also happens to be the national tree of the Philippines. If you're
No
a
way.
fan who is deep into the P-pop scene,
No.
you would recognize some of the future P-pop stars, but one of the most notable ones is this guy.
Yeah,
On the
that's-
first day of training, one
Pablo.
guy stood out because he was just alone standing awkwardly in the corner.
it's always the quiet ones. I'm telling you. And here we are.
Out because he was just alone standing awkwardly in the corner.
Nung una, ang weird niya po, nagsasalita mag-isa.
He was facing the wall,
Mm.
making hand gestures as if he was rapping in
Not
front of
Eminem.
him.
Nakatayo siya sa gilid, biglang gaganon. Sabi ko, anong ginagawa na? Nagre-ritual ba tayo sa gilid?
That guy was John Paulo Nasser. He always wanted to be a performer. As a young dreamer, he joined several competitions as a soloist and also as a member of the K-pop dance cover group called PHP. In training, he was the guy who shows up early and leaves late despite juggling a full-time job as a data analyst to help provide for his family.
Data
Was selected
analyst.
due to his undeniable diligence and leadership qualities. He is known to have critically acclaimed songwriting ability. Some of my sources even said that he had already written dozens of songs at
Yeah,
this
I
time.
you told me that he
also a
produces
badass
most of their
rapper
songs
was
and writes.
often called a genius, but consistently denied it because he claimed to be just a hard worker. This made him the destined leader of the group. He was known as Sejin at the time, but later would be known as Pablo.
Better voice.
30 trainees
Sejin
are a
sounds
lot
very
of trainees. It would take a very observant person with an eye for talent to notice.
He was in
Pablo
The Voice. I recognize that chair anywhere.
It would
He was
take
on The
a
Voice
very
Philippines,
observant
maybe?
person with an eye for talent to notice Pablo in that corner. So who was that observant person with an eye for talent? Well, he was also a trainee. Stelvester Ahero.
His name is Sylvester.
He was
Wow,
only a kid when he
Sylvester.
started competed as a performer. As a dancer, he racked up win after win on a national level with his school crew and became their official choreographer, teaching crewmates 2 to 3 years older than him. He later joined a dance crew called Seon and went on to win international titles.
Wait, choreographer as in he makes up dances and teaches them as well? Because that's crazy.
Later joined a dance crew called Seon and went on to win international titles. Stel obviously worked so hard. Amidst his studies and competitions, he also worked part-time as a McDonald's service crew and teaching dance to kids
Oh,
with special
that's
needs.
cute.
There was a point that he
Aw.
worked too hard that he wound up in the hospital. His poor health caused him to lose his earnings and nearly his life.
What?
Fortunately, he was able to recover. This made him the obvious choice to become the choreographer of the group. But little did they know that dancing wasn't his only talent.
Yeah.
As a kid, he joined the school choir to become the
The
only
pipes
male
on this
soprano
guy is
and
crazy.
only improved as he gotten older. He easily became the main heavenly voice of the group because his vocals were just
The way-
out of this world.
Yes,
Unlike
I
Pablo,
agree.
Stel was very friendly to everyone. In fact, one of his closest friends also auditioned and made it as a trainee. This friend is nothing to be trifled with because having the worst upbringing among the others
Is that
made
Josh?
him the strongest when it comes down to pure guts and determination. Josh Cullen Santos.
Colin!
He left home at the age of 16 and it was his decision. From growing up in a toxic environment to being physically abused as a kid by their nanny. I'm talking about getting poured candle wax all over their body. At an early age,
Excuse me?
he experienced what it felt like to be a member of a middle-class family that went rock bottom in just a matter of months. They get evicted from medium-sized apartments to increasingly smaller rooms. It came to a point when his family had nothing to eat with rice but ketchup and salt. They had no permanent address.
I
Because
can really relate to this. His upbringing. I don't really talk about myself really much on my channel because it's a reaction channel, so who cares, right? But because I'm originally from Latvia, most of you probably don't know that. I'm originally from Latvia, but for the past like 20 years or whatever more, I've been living in Ireland because I have a big family, and my older brothers that are in their 40s now, they started moving to Ireland like back in 2001. Well, my mom moved, then she came back to Latvia, and then my older brothers moved with their girlfriends or whatnot. And then, me and my youngest brother moved with my mom and stuff. My mom lived with our dad lived with us when we were in Latvia, but it was very abusive. Not my mom, my dad. He was very he's just not a great dad. My mom worked 3 jobs while he was doing fuck all, basically. So yeah, we watched a lot of I saw a lot of things when I was younger, basically, that no kid should see. But then we were also like very poor. Our brothers would send us money whenever they could from working in Ireland because they would get a good wage here and stuff, because it's very different levels of economy here than it was in Latvia. And so they would send us like money once a month when they could. But like there would be days where basically you would like look for stale bread that had like a little bit of mold. We would eat that. Yeah, but our lives changed when we moved to Ireland. Obviously, our mom provided us a very good life after that. And I'm very, very thankful to her, because she provided us education, a good stable house, home. Yeah. So, and now all my brothers have kids here. She has now 6 grandkids, which is one of my sons. And we're all here, so it's happy days, So I understand
what it felt like to be a
Josh's
member of a middle-class
experience, kind of.
family
I
that
can
went
relate to
rock
it.
bottom in just a matter of months. They get evicted from medium-sized apartments to increasingly smaller rooms. It came to a point when his family had nothing to eat with rice but ketchup and salt. They had no permanent address. Because of that, Josh and his sister dropped out of school multiple times, so they got bullied at school for being repeaters. Sometimes he would even get into fistfights for defending her. Josh had enough of this, so he decided to leave to become independent and started working as an internet cafe attendant. Using his own income, he took the alternative learning system to attain his high school degree. He initially had no background in performing. Not until he found Stel performing with his dance group called Seon. Josh became an instant fan, and when they connected, Stel became his mentor, which led to them becoming co-members, and they went on to win numerous K-pop dance cover competitions all
cool.
over Asia. They even met BTS during one of their winning runs in Korea.
Oh my god, by the hairstyle I can see that was like, yeah, 2000.
They even met BTS
I'm still
during
having
one of their
that
winning runs in
hairstyle. Crazy.
Korea.
Crazy days.
So from champions to trainees, what else is in store for them?
My two worlds collide.
And training.
We had one mentor when we were training. Tapos, more on personality development siya. Tapos, presenting ourselves on stage.
We had no idea that the Korean-style training they went through
It's far, far from what they've been doing sa Korea.
was nothing but a mere marketing strategy.
But yung skill-wise, parang ganun. We were left on our own.
What?
They were left alone to
Oh,
fend
it's a
for
BTS
themselves,
shirt.
sharing
That's cute.
knowledge to improve each other with the hope of making the cut. Some sources told me that Pablo had to record some of their vocal sessions to effectively coach his co-trainees. All of that without salary. This went on for roughly a couple of years, and I don't know about you guys, but this for me sounded kind of brutal. It's not
Yeah.
easy to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again without any form of guidance. They were also kept in the dark about their debut date. So frustration started brewing until it reached the point when it only took one trigger to call it quits. On one seemingly normal training day, all trainees were already in the studio, except for Josh. On the same morning, the train broke down.
Nasira yung MRT during that time. Nasira yung MRT.
Sinuspindi ang operasyon ng MRT dahil sa power outage.
It wasn't really an accident, but this would still worry anyone, especially the trainees, because it's highly unusual for Josh to miss training. Later that morning, Josh arrived. His co-trainees felt relieved because Josh turned out to be safe. You would think that their company would react the same way, right?
Oh my god, don't tell me they
They
overreacted.
decided to
Going
terminate his training.
Nalate ako.
Okay,
Tapos
what the
tinanggal ako.
fuck? That's
That
a bit
was the
harsh.
Nung tinanggal po ako, nag-quit din yung mga grupo ko. Nag-quit din sila kasi parang naging trigger na point na kung tatanggalin mo si Josh,
Umalis kami sa grupo.
ganun mo lang kadali itapon yung lahat ng efforts and passion tsaka dreams namin.
Show BT had two choices, to keep all trainees or to keep no trainees. The company chose the latter. Everyone left except for Stel.
Parang si Stel lang yung naiwan po nun talaga sa training room. Tapos talagang down na down lahat.
Si Stel natira kasi doon during that time.
Stel set aside all his frustration and remained focused on his goal, while Pablo was
I
devastated.
did a stave. There was no even guidance. Nobody taught them anything. They were
In
just doing
Josh's
everything
case, we
themselves.
can only imagine the pain he must have felt to have been booted out of his dreams. Days passed, everyone still feeling down about that incident. Then Pablo's phone receives a message.
Brother, bumalik ka na, brother.
It was Josh. Out of all the trainees, the guy that got sent packing was the same guy who actively convinced everyone to continue chasing their dreams. Perhaps this was the sheer guts and determination from his life experiences in
That's
full
the only
display.
thing.
Pablo hurried back to the studio to find Stel. Alone. But not for long. Josh came back next and took the initiative to convince the company to have them back.
Pumunta lang po ako doon at syempre kung kailangan na makiusap.
So back to training, they went.
Hindi na lang magkahiwala yung grupo, pero bumalik sila kasi hindi nila ako iwan.
There was only 3 of them for a while. Then a few other trainees started coming back. So Show BT put together a talent workshop to get more talents to keep the business going. This was batch 1. This was batch 2.
Target.
Justin De Dios.
Target found.
He got scouted right away because he was a very good-looking guy and already was a decent singer and dancer. When he joined, he immediately saw a familiar face in Josh.
You look familiar. As do you.
Apparently,
Wow.
Josh told Justin about the workshop because the two already had a stint performing together in a dance cover group called Zero to Hero. So Justin as well wasn't new in the world of performing. He auditioned to be a part of the televised Pinoy boy band Superstar, but he didn't even make it to the live auditions. Perhaps it was fate. That group is nowhere to be found today. Justin obviously deserved better. He went on.
It's like in all these singing competitions, the person that wins the competition usually doesn't go anywhere further than that, and the person that like got booted out, like on the second show or third or whatever, like that gets basically eliminated, is usually the person that succeeds the biggest out of the whole bunch. You know what I mean? That reminds me of that.
To finish his college, he found today. Justin obviously deserved better. He went on to finish his college degree in multimedia arts while training, which earned him a filmmaking skill.
Good for
that
him.
proved very crucial to their success in the future.
Oh, he directs too their
With
music
Justin
videos.
on board, this completed their prototype boy group.
Or these extra people.
It's composed of Justin, Pablo, Stel, Josh, Zeno,
Kurt, and
Kurt,
JP.
and JP. They did multiple test runs leading up to their entry to Pinoy K-pop Star 2017.
Where's my Ken?
They performed B-Day by Icon
Not mine,
in
sorry.
an epic
Where's Ken?
fashion, but they didn't win. At this point, Show BT seemed to have hit a roadblock. The group felt like something was missing.
Yeah,
I don't
Ken.
exactly know what happened to Zeno, Kurt, and JP. They either quit or Show BT felt the need to let go of them and get someone who could take this already great group of guys and push them to achieve the next level. The extraordinary level. This year's in the making project of Show BT needed to reach its peak. So they started the online auditions. When Josh heard about it, he was like, I know a guy.
It's Ken. Get him, Ken.
The guy he was talking about was a pain in his butt because their groups had clashed multiple times in their early dance
Oh,
competitions.
is he like from a dance group?
Battles were always neck and neck. That guy's name was
It's
Philip
Philippe.
John Suson.
Philip, okay, Philip.
He was such a specimen. He was so
Specimen,
naturally
not a
gifted that
specimen.
excelling in sports looked like a walk in the park for him. He grew up in the church under the care of his grandparents. He was an artistic kid, so he was active as an editorial cartoonist in school. Nobody taught him how to play musical instruments. He taught himself by just listening to the music, so he ended up becoming a southpaw guitarist, but he later then fixed it as he learned more. He was also a gifted singer as a kid. Every time there was a family gathering, he was always forced to sing karaoke by his relatives. But when he hit puberty, he lost confidence in his voice because he could no longer hit high notes. But his confidence
He
came
does,
back
though.
after being mentored by Pablo, who taught him how to harness his unique low voice that seemingly sounds like it came from the underworld. When it comes to dance, he didn't know he could do it until he was forced to in order to get good grades during their school intramurals. After discovering dance, he transformed from a guy who didn't know it to someone who can fly. Because of his raw
What?
talent, he ended up teaching dance to the entire school and continued on to join the dance group called Amigo 7, a would-be rival of Josh and Stel's crew. It quickly became a reverse if you can't beat them, then join them kind of deal. So Josh recruited Ken.
Are you
But
open-minded?
there was a problem. He was hundreds of islands away and didn't have the money. What did Josh do? He shelled out for his plane ticket.
No
With
way.
nothing else to lose, Philip went
Must
and
believe
left
in
his
him so
previous
much.
life in the countryside. He then trained with the boys and officially debuted with them as Ken, the main dancer, the bass vocalist, and the lead rapper of the group. One thing to note is that they were an unlikely bunch because they wouldn't have met each other if Tatang Robin stayed with his already successful group in Korea. Justin didn't make it in his first audition, so he almost didn't try again until Josh told him to.
There's
do
a lot
so.
going against
and Ken
him,
wouldn't
but
even
look at
have
that.
the opportunity to join if the ShowBT trainees didn't come back after that quitting incident. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the butterfly effect.
Yup.
When a small and seemingly insignificant occurrence has a rippling effect through time, leading to a consequential event sometime long after the initial event. Or as Google would put it, the phenomenon whereby a minute localized change in a complex system can have large effects elsewhere. Tatang Robin's so-called mistake back in 2002 led to forming the future P-pop Kings. In 2018, SB19 was formed. The name of the group was carefully picked. The number 19 is the sum of Korea and the Philippines country code digits, 82 and 63. So 8 plus 2 plus 6 plus 3 is 19. If you subtract both numbers, you also get the same result. SB doesn't only mean ShowBT. It is also about their ultimate goal for Pinoy sound to break into the music industry, which is fearlessly represented by this phrase: Soundbreak.
That's very Oh, guys, I would have checked out episode 2 now straight away, but my son is going to be back from school in 5 minutes, so I have to get down, preparing food and all of that jazz. But yes, I will be definitely reacting to episode 2 very, very soon. This was so interesting. 90 minutes flew by so quickly. Like, what the heck? Yeah, what a journey they had. What the hell? This is only episode 1. So, oh my god. Like, what a journey they had. Like, everything was literally going against the grain for them. You know what I mean? There was no as they say, there was no paved road for them to go on, smoothly. So they're creating it themselves. This is very inspiring, honestly, because you have to have so much determination and so much want for this to be successful, that you're willing to go through all of this struggle. And yeah, it's amazing. It was an amazing video. Thank you to Casual Chuck, that's his name. I will link his video in the description box if you want to check out them yourself. Please do. Make sure you go like his video. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I really did. It was very informative and very nicely structured, because I'm used to the K-pop style kind of introduction videos where it's basically just words on screen, music playing, and a bunch of pictures. And me as a visual person, like visual as in like I have to hear and see stuff moving. For me to read something and remember is very hard. Like, I'll read a line and I'll forget about it. So yeah, that's why it's very hard for me to learn names unless I see the person very often and repeat their names very often. So that's why you might catch me in a video repeating a name over and over again, is because it just helps me remember it. So this type of style of an kind of a introduction video to a group is very, very nice and very cool for me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure to like it, subscribe if you still haven't, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.